Hello, and welcome to On the Clock, presented by WorkStream. If you care about finding, hiring, and retaining hourly employees, you're in the right place. I'm Daniel Blazer, and today's episode brings you a triple feature. I'm clocking in with Donald Terry, Jimmy Washington, and Andy Brunetz. Combined, they have almost 100 years of experience in the retail hospitality industry. This trio oversees the hiring efforts of Malco Theatres, a chain that employs as many as 1,500 hourly employees across 40-plus locations in 6 states. We talk about the unique hiring challenges faced by movie theaters, why it's crucial to use every possible resource when sourcing new employees, and how to lean into what makes your industry unique to attract hourly workers. To kick things off, why do you all love working in the retail hospitality industry and in movie theaters specifically?
I mean, my biggest thing that I like about it is it's never the same. Everything about it is different. Like if I had to sit at a desk every day, I would go nuts. I like new things. I like, every week it's new because basically you traditionally have new movies. You have something else to promote. You may get to see the same guests the same week, but you always have new challenges. The film companies, of course, have made it a little more difficult at times, but believe it or not, they've kind of learned their lesson a little bit, and they've come back. Top Gun proved that, so did Spider-Man. People want the ability to socialize and go back to the theater, and that goes for sports, that goes for other things that, people don't want to just be stuck in the house. One of the big things I do is I know I'm strange because I go on vacation just to go look at theaters sometimes to see what other people are doing.
Could you quickly summarize some of the hiring challenges that you faced over the last couple of years?
We hire in bulk at certain parts of the year, and then like this time of year we don't need a whole lot of people. So it just goes in waves at certain parts. We need a lot of people at certain parts of the days, and a lot of days we don't need as many people like we're experiencing right now. So it just varies from, parts of the year, business. Our product is playing on the screens, and ultimately our customers pretty much determine how many employees we need. So that's the going on right now.
Well, and some of the challenge too has been finding people.
Yeah.
And the amounts of people, and actually reliable people at this point.
Right.
And what really kind of caused that is you saw some of the other retailers, big box, restaurant, people that would not typically hire in the upcoming group of 16, 17-year-olds that lowered where they used to only say, okay, well, we hire 18 and above or even 20 and above. They lowered those age groups, so it actually took a bulk of first-timers. And in the theater business, that's very much what we've always, looked towards is their first jobs. They're very dependable. They, it's sometimes even better than someone who's already had 2 or 3. Of course, also competition with pay, benefits, and everything else has been a little more challenging as well.
Yeah, that definitely makes sense. And when I think of my own behaviors and when I go to movie theaters, there's definitely a lot of seasonality to that. So I'm sure most people listening, it's the same way, right? Maybe some summer blockbusters, the Thanksgiving holiday, there are these big moments, and then there are probably other times where they don't go to theaters as much. What advice would you give to someone who is also struggling to hire hourly employees? Like, what have you learned from the experience of the last couple of years?
The main thing I would say, and WorkStream is good about this, is don't overlook any form of getting out the word about hiring. Like y'all have QR codes, you have texting, you have online, you have in-house as far as you can put up signs in the theater and put out applications, and online posting to the job boards. If you're just sticking to one form, go ahead and sell your business because you're not going to be able to stay in business. I mean, I'm not one to sugarcoat it. You don't want to obviously hire somebody because they're not, the age is not the same as it was 2, 5, 10 years ago. And we had to change a lot with that. We were trying to do things before we even got WorkStream, and many applications, and just don't even give us just put your phone number and your email address and a name here, and none of that was really working that much. So if you're not looking at everything, then you're really not looking.
Through this process of continually refining and optimizing your hiring process, your sourcing, have you discovered that there are any specific perks or benefits that make a really big difference in attracting or retaining hourly employees?
Well, one thing with movie theaters is we do offer movie tickets and stuff like that for them and family and stuff. So that's always been why. I mean, Daniel, I'm surprised if you didn't work at a movie theater when you first started. You probably didn't, but you probably knew people that did when you were 16 and 17. And they were like, oh, they work at the movie theater. They got special treatment.
Right.
So, that's always been, for us, a little bit of a perk.
And that's helped with the kind of crowd employees that we try to attract, which is the younger crowd and first time movies, first time jobs and everything else. So
right. And in that time frame, that small window that we have with them, we try to evolve them into supervisors, management, things of that nature. That's what we grab them early. We tend to know what they like, what they want, what they don't want, and we try to cater towards them to get them in the door, work with them, train them, and one day, because we all started 16, whatever years old in this business, and we're still here.
And another thing that helps us is if you're in a fast food or a retail or a cashier line, pretty much you are busy from the point you start to you stop. And with a movie theater or any kind of, we have times that we, like, I think Jimmy mentioned it before, where we have start times and so there are breaks. Now, we're not trying to tell them they get to leave and come back, but, they're not just constantly, it's busy for an hour, then it slows up a little bit and they go around and kind of stock and stuff, so they don't get wore out.
Right.
To take what you're saying and sort of generalize it to other industries, it seems like a good idea to really play up the specific, unique benefits that your business offers employees. And that might be theater tickets in your instance. It might be something else for another industry, but it's identifying those things and really leaning into those because those are a unique value proposition for those that you hire.
Well, and another thing is too, automation doesn't need to be not looked at when you compare yourself to 5 years ago. We're not trying to replace people. I think there are a lot of companies out there that are working to try and more replace people. Now, I wouldn't say that's us trying to do it necessarily for that reason, but the customer, the guest, has driven more of the automation than what we probably have driven. From Daniel, when you went to the movie the last time, you probably purchased your ticket online. Whereas maybe 5 or 10 years ago, you didn't do that. You went there. So, there's more of that's being generated that does somewhat streamline the hiring process and eliminate maybe where you maybe had 4 or 5 people there, you might have 3 or 4. But trust me, those people that you would have had there now are in another position somewhere else, typically doing another type of job.
Yeah, that's a really interesting point. I have one more question, and I think I would be remiss if I didn't ask it. What is your favorite movie? Or put another way, what is the movie that you go back and rewatch most often?
Right now, one of my current favorite movies still is and it's newer, it's Top Gun Maverick, just because it brought back a resurgence from the 80s. Yeah. A film that was out the year before I even started. The movie came out in 86. I started in 87. And I remember being on a church school type trip and watching it on a TV this big and watching it with about 20 other people around from the VCR on a VCR. So I never got to see Top Gun in a theater. So that was really awesome to see that. And plus it's really what I think made the film companies slap themselves silly over some of their decisions. I remember Rodney Dangerfield's Back to School back a long time ago. I used to love that film. I still watch it all the time.
Yep.
I just watched another movie that's very similar to Top Gun coming back on the flight, Iron Eagle with Louis Gossett Jr. Love that movie. It's very underrated, and but these are, you know, I like a lot of 80, 90 comedies anyway.
Yeah.
Pulp Fiction.
I used to play baseball too. There's a movie in the 90s called For Love of the Game with Kevin Costner that I love to watch. I love to watch that movie.
Thank you so much for listening to On the Clock. For show notes and more info, visit workstream.us/podcast. I'll leave some links in the show notes to learn more about Malco Theatres and all that they're up to. Until next time, we're clocking out.